Hello, everyone. Welcome to Tibby Time. I'm your host, SoftTibbies, and I'm here with SinfulLapis. My first question for you is, why the fancy name? Is it a play on your Safe for Work name?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, because I have two Twitter accounts. I have SinfulLapis and I think it's just Lapis. I'll have to double check on that. But I have two Twitter accounts. The Safe for Work one came first, and eventually I was like, hey, what if I made a After Dark account? Back when people still called it After Dark, right?
Mm.
And I did that, and Sinful Lapis slowly but surely became my main. Because I guess I just became a primarily not safe for work artist after. It wasn't that long ago, but
So, you have two gardevoirs. So, the two main ones on your that show up the most, their names are Rosie and Lapis, am I correct?
yes, and I only own one of them, which would be Lapis. Rosie belongs to my girlfriend.
What inspired your OCs? Why gardevoirs?
Why Gardevoirs? Cause oh man, we're fucking nerds, man. Gardevoir is like our favorite Pokemon, and especially I started playing Pokemon around like fourth gen, and even around fourth gen. Um, I didn't even finish Pokemon Diamond when I got it. I got Pokemon Emerald right after, and Ralts is like one of the first ever Pokemon I caught, and plus I brought it all the way to like Gardevoir and stuff. And I would keep playing Pokemon forever and ever, and it's like, hey, Gardevoir is pretty freaking great. And then also being like this, me being on the internet all the time, I'm slowly exposed to all the Gardevoir content out there for better or worse.
Hmm.
And eventually, it's like, hey, what if I made like a Gardevoir OC? And it was like probably early high school, late middle school, where I came up with Lapis, and she went through so many like redesigns and transformations. So,
So, based on like OCs and stuff like that, what happened to Oran the Gardevoir?
oh, she is like super new. She's a brand new character that came out pretty recently, just because for through sinful thoughts and just experimenting with different types of content, like when it comes to like making art about like bellies and stuff. I pretty much if it involves a belly, I love it, right? And Oran's just kind of like my go-to for more sinful than usual stuff.
Speaking of OCs again, will we see more of Cotton or Tuna?
Of who in tuna?
Cotton, the dragon.
Oh my god, yeah, cotton. Oh right, man. So Cotton, I literally just drew him that one time, didn't I? Cotton, yeah, she was like a fun experiment because it was right after a conversation in a group chat, and it was a couple friends, and yeah, eventually came to the conclusion of, hey, what if we had this like I like basically a MILF dragon pretty much, and I had some fun coming up with like ideas and concepts, and I eventually came up with Cotton. She was just like just self indulgent, and I definitely want to make more stuff with her. Right now, she's been kind of sitting in the back burner. But as for Tuna, that depends on how much Skyrim and Elder Scrolls Online I play. She's definitely like my not self insert, like my main Elder Scrolls Sona, if you want to call it that. She's like, if I play any Elder Scrolls game that lets you play Khajiit, I'm gonna put Tuna in there. And plus, I take a lot of inspiration from whatever I do in those games, especially Skyrim. I got the idea of Tuna being like this traveling merchant and alchemist just from like role playing that as I played Skyrim. And but it was after I haven't played Skyrim in freaking ages. It's been like a year or two now, and I just got back into the series, and I'm really into this series. If you look at my Steam page right now, you're gonna see like hours and hours. Like I've been playing. I probably need to take a break from the Elder Scrolls games, but I've been having a lot of fun, and it's been good inspiration for like working on new Elder Scrolls based characters.
Well, I noticed in your just profile that you seem to be a writer of sorts. I noticed your Splatoon fan fiction, and I was wondering, are you ever planning on doing like a comic or a story of sorts? In my opinion, Tuna and Farfella would be a good fit together.
A Splatoon fan fiction. You have to remind me on that. One. Splatoon fanfic. Was it on my Twitter page?
Yes, your safe for work one.
My safe for work page, Splatoon. Oh man, I don't even remember. It's been so long since I checked that page. I remember writing some stuff for Splatoon, but I forgot what it consisted of. But let's see. You mentioned Tuna and Farfel, right?
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Farfel. It depends, cause Farfel, she's actually my Dungeons and Dragons character, one of them, anyways. Whenever I write stories and like fanfic or whatever, or just come up with like different ideas, I try to like keep the characters within their own like contained universe, unless for like some really like fantastical stuff. Like you have Lapis, who's a gardevoir, and you have someone's like OC who's like a Star Fox OC, you know it, or something like that. We'll have like a little fun crossover just for like pure kink nonsense. But like when it comes to like making an actual like story for the fun of it, I like to be faithful to. Well, faithful is a strong word. I like to stay as close to the source material as I can and not have like different universes intermingle. So I think if I ever write like any Elder Scrolls story, it'll like be within the Elder Scrolls universe with Elder Scrolls like lore friendly stuff. Same thing with Dungeons and Dragons, but I guess the Dungeons and Dragons is more flexible because that's all like it encourages so much homebrew. So I think Farfel she can probably see like a lot of interaction with like other existing characters, like for sure.
Well, speaking of, you said almost like a self-insert of sorts. I don't I don't know if this is true, but I was on your Safe for Work page. Will we ever see more of your girl OC Starlight?
Oh man, Starlight. That's a whole lot of history to go through there with Starlight. Um, oh man, where do we begin? Yeah, for sure. I definitely want to do a lot more stuff with Starlight. She's like, if I'm when I'm writing stuff, Starlight's like my one like actually like original like not based. Well, I've taken inspiration obviously. If anything, I've taken the most heavy inspiration from Dark Souls and Skyrim. But aside from that, Starlight's like its own. She's like her own original self-contained character in her own original setting that I've been trying to like work on for fucking ages since like middle school, man. I had like my own little group of classmates, and we would all like come together for like making ideas. And I had this like whole elaborate story to start off with like a fucking dream, right? And since then, I've been working on like little tidbits and ideas here and there. And Starlight kind of came to be as like the main protagonist. She's like started off as like generic like anime protagonist, huge fucking sword, kind of like moe and shit like that. But over the years, I've been trying to like develop her more and more, give her like different designs and like personalities and like just throw in concepts here and there. I definitely want to like get to the point where I can write like my own original story that features Starlight, and just have like my own like graphic novel where like it tells that story. I'd love to world build, and I would definitely want to take the opportunity to like make a whole story like revolving her and a bunch of other like characters like as original as can be, you know.
Speaking of like staying to source material and stuff like that, I noticed one character that you did not create, but you definitely seem to have a good relationship with is Blaze the cat. Are you ever going to do more of her?
Oh man, Blaze the cat. Absolutely. Yeah, fucking Blaze the cat. If any kid were to ever have a fucking fictional like character crush in like early on, mine was like fucking Blaze the cat, dude. One of the first video games I've ever beaten like as a little kid was like Sonic Rush back when I had like my first ever DS, and it was even like the very first model where it was like kind of rounded edges and stuff. And when I got Sonic Rush like for one of my birthdays, and first game I ever beat, I played like basically all the Blaze stages, had a fucking blast, and I really grew to like her design.
So, of all of those characters we just mentioned, who is your ultimate favorite character to draw if you had to choose, and why?
Lapis, just because I've already grown used to drawing her so much. She's like my main go-to. If and probably the closest to like a self-insert I can probably get to like any of my characters. Like maybe not, definitely not like appearance-wise, but personality-wise, like the way she behaves, and if I were to like put her in like a comic setting, It's probably like the closest to like a self-insert, and I have the most fun drawing her.
Well, since you enjoy drawing Lapis so much, I think you already kind of briefly mentioned on this topic, but what is your favorite thing to draw? Would you go into more detail on that subject?
Uh, oh man. Um, I have to consider. Do you want the safe for work answer, or do you want the not safe for work answer?
Either is
Because
fine.
I have both. Okay. Safe for work. I definitely enjoy like actiony, but like I love drawing like intensity and like cool action scenes, and I also love drawing drama. Fucking when I wrote comics earlier on, like at high school, when I actually tried to do comics, I would love to like kind of create like these character dynamics and like insert some kind of like drama or like cool action scenes just to make it like super intense and have an excuse to do like really like powerful poses and just give this like dramatic flair to the story. For better for worse, I had fun doing it, and I would love to do it more. I just need to like, kind of like I want to like find a time to sit down and like think of like the next story I want to do for that. And for the not safe for work, I guess fucking dude, anything that involves a round belly. I guess I have a lot of fun doing internals. That's definitely been like a fun subject to draw, just because okay, do you love when you enjoy bellies as a fetish for I guess a long enough period of time, especially with like vor being one of something that I'm into. Uh, I definitely grew to kind of like enjoy like the extra detail and just stuff that goes with that, like just the complexity of like seeing what goes on inside and oh man, how do I explain this? I'll probably have to like elaborate on this later, but just bellies and board as like probably the best answer for like the not safe for work.
Well, since you say that, what is the story? What gave you the sickness for the thickness?
The sickness for the thickness. That's a good one. Um, well, it started off not with the thickness. It was bellies first and foremost, but it was more so like uh in a lot of cartoons you see a lot of like characters like with like their stomachs growling like they're hungry or something. That's what started it. Absolutely. Just I don't know what it is. Well, I kind of know what it is about it. It's like vulnerable, not vulnerability. What's the word? It's it's something so fuck. I don't know how to put into words. It's something intimate about it, man. Like just belly gurgles. Like you put your ear to like a stomach and you hear everything. And but it started off from that. Eventually, it's like, hey, bellies are great and all, but what if they're soft? You know?
Hmm.
And eventually, it was kind of like a downhill spiral from there, where eventually grew to like chubby bellies, and then fat, and then really fat, and like, oh hey, stuffing, like feederism is a thing that people are into, and that's kind of hot. And eventually, it's like, oh hey, vor. I meet this person online, Rosie, by the way. Um, she's into vor, and it's like, oh hey, vor is something, and well, because I was never into vor at first, but it's like it didn't take long until I was like, yeah, I could kind of get into this, and just from there, it just kept going and going until I was like, yeah, I just like anything that involves a belly.
So, who are your favorite artists who inspire to keep you going?
Who inspires me?
Mm-hmm.
Uh, dude, fucking Noodle Mage, Doctor Worm, the Worm Man himself, the man who draws that blue alien chick and her pink lesbian dork girlfriend. Um, him and his art, Noodle Mage, it's definitely been like a huge inspiration, like of all the comics and like just the fun stuff he does. I see all the work he does of his art, all the characters he's made, and like I've seen his older comics where his character Nurse and Winona, they were like part of this like police force or something, and he goes crazy into like the world building and stuff. It's like you look at all the detail he puts in like his backgrounds and like characters. You see him exist in this environment. It's like, oh fuck, man! Like he you can see that he has like a passion for it for sure. And well, aside from that, he also draws vor, which is like, oh hey, that's nice. That's nice. He draws like a really cute belly, and I'm kind of into that. So he's definitely like a huge inspiration for sure.
If you could collab with any artist, who would it be, and what would you draw?
Good question. Oh, man, it's too many to name. I follow so many artists on like both Twitter for affinity and fucking. I have to go with Dr. Worm. Just fucking his ideas and concepts and characters are just like they're so fun to like toy with. Like there was a time where I just did like tons and tons of like fan art for one of his characters, Smoggy, the red dragon of his. I drew tons of her for like a little while. Probably a little excessive. I should have toned it down. I will admit, but it was definitely really fun. Like I love his concepts and ideas, and I would just love to like maybe sit down, talk about a few things, and see where that goes. I've never been one to like sit down and like focus for anything for too long. I jump from idea to idea, and never like I'm never able to like commit to something unless I really really have like the passion for it, and I really need to like kind of like kick that bad habit and like actually focus.
Is that?
And
Oh, my bad.
yeah, no,
I-
you can go ahead.
Is that why you don't like color your drawings as often?
Most definitely, yeah. I and not that I don't want to. I definitely have like the ideas like what colors to use, and like I can I love to color drawings, but just with all the ideas I come up with, all the ideas I see and talk about with my friends, with Rosie, and like I definitely just keep jumping from idea to idea so much. I can't really just like sit down and actually like finish one, and I really should, but that's why I have like even now, as I've been like using this new laptop and like getting a bunch of drawings done through Clip Studio and like trying out the program, I have like so many drawings that I could be coloring and like experimenting with, but they're all just kind of like black and white. It's like, okay, we're gonna do a new drawing today, and we're gonna do a new one tomorrow and the day after, and nothing gets colored. And that's something that I think I'd like help like kind of fix.
So I noticed you have a Patreon. What could people expect there if they supported you?
Uh, man, my Patreon. I haven't done that much of it, man. To be honest, it's just kind of been sitting there in the back burner. Mostly, I need to figure out to do something that I want to do with it. Because for a while, I tried to push my Patreon and be like, "Hey, I'm gonna be uploading a bunch of content here, and it's gonna be like this cool premium place where you can see like all the stuff I do in the background, like like drawings that are work in progress." And you'll get access to like this like private Discord with a bunch of like I'll use that private Discord as like a gallery for all my older arts and like divide it into sections to be like organized and stuff. And that never went anywhere. Not because I didn't get any support, not because people weren't interested. I just didn't put the time and effort into it. I tried it out, and probably like 2 weeks into it, I'm like, let's do something else. And it's just kind of been sitting there, man. And it's been that way for like what, maybe like 2 years now. It's just in the back burner right now.
This is a more far-flung question, but what's your ultimate goal with your art? What are you striving to do?
Keep on drawing, honestly. I just fucking love to draw. Um, there's definitely like some bigger goals here and there. Like I do want to make like original stories and comics, and maybe even like publish a graphic novel. I would love to get into animation to like making cartoons too, and just trying out stuff like making like a real gritty like kind of dark fantasy setting like cartoon or animation or just comics in general. I want to tell stories, man. I love to world build, and I love to like when I played D&D, I fucking loved playing D&D. And I have our we have this like little group going on with my girlfriend and some close friends, and we would play D&D online through like Roll20, and that would be like my chance to like tell a story and just have this narrative go on. And that was really fun. I love telling stories, and I would love to like do that more often.
So, what are you planning on doing at this current moment? Are you working on anything interesting?
Um, It's nothing too extravagant. Right now, I am going through some college classes right now. I'm currently going for as far as my plans are right now, I'm working for like an art major, and so far I'm halfway there. So I'm pretty proud of like the progress I've done. I've had some ups and downs, but aside from that, I'm hoping to get a I'm hoping to like succeed and get my art major and see where things go after that. And in terms of like the stuff I've been doing, like content wise, like making art, I would very much love to get a comic done, like at least this year, like before next year. I would love to do like a really big, kind of like fancy comic, and I don't know. I need to brainstorm of like what I want to do with that. But now that I have like all these tools with me, I just recently got this laptop and I just recently got Clip Studio Paint. I want to see what I can kind of do with that, you know?
Mhm. Well, final question. Anything you want your fans to know about you?
Um, uh, my name is Lapis. You know me. I like food and bellies, and I like to draw. And so long as you guys stick around, you can definitely expect plenty more drawings of just fun, self-indulgent shenanigans and just whimsical kind of whatever. We're just gonna have fun, you know. I'm definitely gonna I definitely want to just draw for the hell of it and like see it, just enjoy the ride.
Well, you heard it here, folks. If you have a sickness for the thickness, please stop by at SinfulLapis on Twitter. And thank you, Lapis, for joining me on Tibby Time.
Hey, thanks for having me.